Hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 238. My bad, sorry for missing chapter on Friday. This is a little bit later than usual, but there's a really good reason. It was out for 2 days, then on Friday, I was lazy. It'd be like that sometimes. Anyway, last chapter of this chapter, Kashimo pulls up on Sukuna. He beats him up a little bit, pops his curse technique. Phantom Beast Amber beats up Sukuna a little bit more. Sukuna's like, alright, you're getting a little big for your britches. Transforms into true form. And so the true fight is about to begin. That's it for last chapter. Getting into this chapter. First, immediately we see Kashimo's just like fully transformed. Last chapter with his curse technique, we see that it specifies like surpass the human body. And it's like, his body breaks down. It's like remaking in curse energy. So I guess you could say he's like a pseudo curse spirit. And the reason why I mention this is because he just now has 3 eyes, which wasn't the initial transformation. So my assumption is that basically once he uses curse technique, since it's breaking down his body anyway, he's basically able to I wouldn't say speed up the process, but he's able to manipulate his form using his cursed energy. Basically, I think that's how that works. That or this ability just makes him have 3 eyes. I mean, it could be either, really. Anyway, Kashimo's using his X-ray vision with his 3 eyes. He's looking at Sukuna. He's just like, holy shit. He really is built different. He's perfect. I'm like, damn. Glazing already. It's looking bad. Narrator receipts the glaze as well. Basically, just like his form is optimal jujutsu. 2 mouths, 1 for incantations, 1 to talk shit. 4 arms, 1 to do the hand signs, another set to beat the shit out of you. And if he's not doing hand signs, he's holding his cursed weapons of choice. Kamtake, which we saw last chapter, got it from Rame. Well, Hirozu gave it to him, and then Rame was holding it for him and then gave it to him. And his other cursed weapon, which is a spear one, which we see in the cover art, which is called He-10. We don't know what He-10 does. We also haven't seen He-10 in current day, but they just specify these are his 2 usuals. Lightning blaster and a spear. That probably does something cool, right? They kind of go into his history and they're basically like, this is the big fight of Sukuna. And we kind of get like a semi-clear mural. Well, not semi-clear. We got a blurred mural that kind of shows Sukuna fighting a bunch of dudes. Presumably, it's him fighting an entire army's worth of people, and we get specification of who these people are. They're the elite celestial squad, 5 boy generals who were under the Fukiwara no Hoke branch. What exactly does that mean? They're a bunch of strong dudes. We also find out what group Angel is a part of, which is the Disijin squad and the remnants of the Sugiwara clan. All these people, presumably at the same time, just based on the mural. So that's cool. Honestly, seems like something Sukuna would do. Bully an entire army into submission. That's about right. Slightly cut away from the glazing of the narrator to Kashimo glazing some more. Is basically like, I'm just looking at this. It's just beautiful. It's perfect. And Sukuna's like, well, while you're glazing, catch these hands. Approaches, double fisting his side. Pause. It's a crazy sentence. Double fisting Kashimo's side. Sends him flying a little bit, but Kashimo tries to retaliate. He's like, I got him in the side. Cool. Lightning blast. Straightforward. Bottom mouth. Incantations. Top mouth. Real time talking shit. Kashimo, you should look out for this next one. The incantations continue at the same time. Dismantle. Just gigantic slash. And he puts the hand out. He puts the hand out to point. Giant slash and covering Kashimo. He's able to dodge it, but he does get sliced a little bit. And Kashima's like, oh shit, that was the one that killed Gojo. That slash that bisects the world itself. I prefer the slash that cuts the world itself. Just rolls off the tongue better. But bisects does not sound bad, as we see the slash leaving a dark cut mark on the land itself. Right? And we get, a little talking from Kashimo, or not Kashimo, Sukuna. And he's basically like, there was some goofy, some little dummy who came to me talking about trying to teach me what love is, and that I'm lonely, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, she should have came to you guys, you and Gojo, because clearly you guys are the ones who want to know this information, or be taught a lesson about love or whatever. Me, well, he gets a little bit further explanation about how he feels about it later, but the gist of it is he does not care. We'll get an understanding of what he personally cares about a little bit later. Alright? From there, Sukuna uses his common token, hits Kashimo with a lightning bolt, but obviously it doesn't really do anything. But Kashimo obviously dodges, because also I think the idea is that it also kind of blinds him a little bit, because it is lightning still. It's not like you can just see through it. Sukuna, behind Kashimo. They were at a distance, looking at each other. Lightning bolt. He's now behind Kashimo. Kashimo, I react to that. Turns around, goes for another blast, gets both his arms grabbed, pulled up, open shots to the stomach, tosses Kashimo down. Kashimo tries to get out of it, dodges backwards, goes for another blast. And before he can even charge the blast up, death the wall. Those little those lazy potato cutters. Instead of cutting it with the knife, you got the cube thing. They got the cubes with the blades inside that you push down. Yeah. Kashimo's the potato. Death scene. It's death scene. He gets to go to the airport in Purgatory, and we see old man Kashimo. And basically, Sukuna explains Doc, you already had love. As strong people like me and you and Gojo, we're loved just naturally, right? People came to you not to try to curse you and all that. They came to you to be recognized by someone they recognized as strong, to prove themselves as also strong. If that's, and of course, we respond by showing them our strength and basically abusing their body till they're dead. If that's not love, I don't know what love is. And Sukuna feels pretty confident that he knows what love is. And honestly, I don't feel comfortable telling Sukuna that he doesn't know what it is. I feel like I might turn into a bunch of small strips of meat. Pause. Crazy sentence. Proceeding on from there, right? Sukuna then goes on to basically say, you and Gojo are greedy, because though you guys have this love, you guys are complaining about, oh man, it's so lonely being strong. Bro, that comes with the business. You want to be strong, you're going to be alone. It's fact of life. Which pretty much explains why in the previous chapter, when Kashima was asking all these questions, Sukuna's basically you're being greedy. You already have what you want. You have everything. You have the things that other people want. Why are you complaining about being alone? Just, And then Kashima asks the inquisitive question of, okay, well, if love is all this stuff and apparently we just get our fill by just existing, then why'd you turn to a bunch of fingers and come to the present? And Sukuna kind of dodges, well, he doesn't dodge the question, he's gonna answer in a second, but he basically says don't get me wrong, love is for the birds. It's not for me. It shouldn't really, personally, I think it's worthless. says. That's what Sukuna says. He's like, this love shit, I know what it is. I just don't give a fuck. And so he goes on to explain what he's living for. He's like, hey, look, alright. Eating what I want to eat, killing who I want to kill, playing around when I want to play around. These are the things that really make my day-to-day fun. This is what I'm trying to get down. If you don't like how I get down, you can't stop me anyway. So it's your problem. Step to me and die. Don't start with me. I do what I want. And that's his day to day. Right? And so then Kashima was like, well, seems like you had your fill. Because he gets this explanation. Obviously, you seem like you figured it out. You know how it gets down. You've been saying like, hey, you're putting in your own like philosophy of life that like, hey, if someone tries to call me out, they can step to me and die for it because they're not stopping me. Sukuna, like a rich person tasting wine, stirring it up in their wine glass. There are many good tastes of humans that enjoy. I will continue to sip on theirs. Well, he doesn't say sip on their suffering, but honestly, it's sipping on their suffering. Let's keep it honest. I'll continue to sip on their suffering to pass time until I die. He's just a rich guy with his billions of dollars, just pissing on the weak until it's time for him to go permanently. That's so baller. That's so baller. So baller. Mind you, he's saying this in the afterlife. After turning a second strongest of their era into a pack. Well, not even a pack. Mincemeat, chopped cheese, shredded potatoes. Alright? We don't get to see, Kashimo does get off-screen, quote unquote, but we get even better version of the off-screening, since we get to see the slashes incoming. So though we don't see Kashimo's dead body, we are 100% sure that whatever was left was, well, not much. Definitely not connected to the rest of its body. Proceeding on from there, domain expansion breaking. Hikari and Arame pop out. Arame does not look very injured. Hikari, smiling. I want to assume that means he got his jackpot, and I want to assume Arame just kind of held up. Or maybe Arame didn't even bother fighting, was like, honestly, I don't even really care to fight you. Which is possible, it could be either. And two of the people I was waiting to see pop in. Higuruma, okay. Big mallet, okay. Bro's finna prosecute. Left, right, good night. Yuji Itadori with the arm buff. He's pulling up. So we got 3 of our niggas. Hikari, Higuruma, Yuji pull up to the fight. Only one Sukuna supporter, Arame. Will they actually fight? Debatable. Because Sukuna could just simply say, nah, let me get this one. I'll get these ones. And Arame sits back. But probably Arame's gonna fight, I feel like. I just think that probably should be the case at this point of the story. And Sukuna, final lines of the chapter. Just what do you think you'll be able to do, brat? End of chapter, break next week. I cried already. Cried on Friday. Alright. End of chapter. Yuji, arm buff. We gotta talk about it. Yuji got new arms. If you look at it, you don't even, it's actually fairly obvious. His nails got like the pointy bits. His arm looks super different. Like, it looks like the muscles exposed, and it kind of looks like Yuji's like biting his arm, or like his arm's like in his face. So presumably it feels like he's biting, or like maybe it also has wraps around the wrists, so maybe he's making sure the wraps are on correctly. I don't know. Point is, we're definitely gonna see whatever. Okay. a big thing that people were thinking about coming into just the Gojo and Sukuna fight, because obviously we knew that Yuji was eventually going to hop in there and get a fight in. Basically, how the fuck is Yuji supposed to go one-on-one with Sukuna, King Curses? Well, the explanation, well, not explanation, but the thought people had in mind was that, oh, well, Yuji ate the rest of the cursed rooms, and he's reading this book, maybe he has soul abilities, maybe he finally got Sukuna's cursed technique, basically listing off a bunch of shit, right? At this point, with the arm thing, we can say de factoly, Yuji has gotten some kind of buff, some kind, and we are going to see it next chapter. For a fact, we're going to see what Yuji can do. We don't know what he can do. We can speculate based on the arm thing, but really we have no clue. There's nothing really clearly stating what he could possibly do. So just hopes and dreams, but I know it's gonna be cool. Left, right, good night. Hands, man, Yuji is gonna pop off. I trust in him. Gege, I trust. Higuruma, I saw people talking about it, and honestly, I could tell exactly what was gonna happen the second he stepped in. Domain expansion immediately, prosecuting Sukuna for his crimes. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. There's 2 or 3 ways it could go. First option, goes through the trial, he gets his custody taken, but he still got ungodly hands, and he has great curse energy manipulation. Because remember, the first version of the prosecution takes away just your curse technique, but leaves you with your curse energy. But usually most sorcerers don't have really good control of their curse energy, so it doesn't end up mattering. They basically lose all skill, right? But Sukuna's not your average Joe Schmo Jujutsu sorcerer or cursed user. I imagine if he loses curse technique, he still has perfect control of his curse energy, buys the fuck out of Higuruma. That's option 1. Option 2, he is prosecuted, and he says Lamau, and breaks the domain, obliterates Higuruma. Option 3, it just works. The plan just works well. Sukuna has no use of his curse technique or curse energy, but he just has hands. Itadori tries to get in there, but we've already seen earlier in this chapter with Kashimo, who honestly we felt like he had great hands. He had great energy, curse energy control, and hands. And bro was getting boloed, low diffed, disrespected. He tried to use a blast from close range, and Sukuna grabs both his arms and starts jumping him by himself. Do you understand how crazy it is to be like jumping a guy by yourself? To grab his arms, hold him up like one of your boys, and you're taking pot shots like you're a separate person, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in on him. Boom, 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 by yourself. It's just you. You're the one holding him still to get the pot shots on him by yourself. I don't think it's gonna be easy. I mean, well, we know for a fact Yuji got the hands to keep up with a guy with 4 arms, but again, Sukuna isn't your average guy. Hell, he turned the least average guy in history, besides himself, into an average guy. And by that, I mean half a guy. I'd throw it in there, it's too easy. Point being, this is kind of wild. So, it's not going to be easy to take him out, obviously. But it is interesting that Yuji and Higuruma are out here first, because the fuck is Yuta and Maki? Again, Yuta's my boy. That's my goat. That's my actual true form-to-form goat. I want to see him show up and beat some people up. Maybe he's going to go fight Kinchaku. I don't know. I mean, that is his prerogative, but yeah, I'm a little surprised about that, but it is what it is. And other than that, Kashimo, dead. Philosophy of Sukuna, what we could have expected, honestly. We could have easily have interpreted this. Obviously, there has been suggestions like, oh, maybe Sukuna's lonely and stuff. But he has dispelled another set of allegations and said, no, I don't care about love. I'm not lonely. I just want to fuck with you. I want to fuck with everybody throughout history until it's my time to go. And it's not finna be soon. And we get explanation about Kashima and Gojo being greedy, which again, I feel like people kind of predicted. At least the idea of like, oh, you know, Kashima and Gojo want more from being the strongest, while Sukuna's basically like, you guys got everything you got everything you want, so shut up. And beyond that, honestly, not too much else to discuss. It's just cool. And damn, the boy Kashima got packed up in one chapter. It's rough out here, but I'm not mad about it. Anyway, that was pretty much it for this chapter. I'm gonna call it a day.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.